Hi guys, welcome back. So today we are going to discuss about another layer which is S1AP layer. It may not be at the air interface level, but we are trying to have a look at a very high level which is S1AP, which means the MME is trying to connect to the E node B or E node B is trying to connect to the MME. The scenario is same, which is L3 call initiated by the UV as an MO and going into the idle mode, and then once the paging is triggered, it is trying to reconnect and then making the L3 call, and finally the UV will be released. So this is the actual scenario. Now we will get into S1AP logs. So I'm just trying to give S1AP here so that I can collect the S1AP logs only. Find all in current, then you'll try to see only the S1AP logs. Okay, I'm just copying and pasting in the new for better clarity. So now you can see starting an MME connection, right? SCTP open. So people who are familiar with the S1AP or SCTP protocols, maybe just it is also a kind of a PDUs and SDUs and PDUs. Okay, so if you try to have a look at the L3 call, it is actually carrying the initial UV messages and the NAS messages, whatever UV is actually trying to send towards the base station for the MME to understand at the NAS level. So those things are actually captured in the S1AP protocols. S1AP protocols. All the message exchanges that you can see for the entire L3 call flow is actually happening. We will try to see only at the S1AP level. You can see. Okay, so when the L3 call is actually ongoing, but initially you can see MME connection starting with the MME connection, which means the first stage is base station is trying to connect to the MME. So that's why you can see the messages, main messages are this: S1 setup request and S1 setup response, TX and RX. So if it is RX, means you are actually receiving from the MME, right? So MME connection set up successfully. Now later what? Later UV is actually initiating, correct? So once the UV is initiating, which means it is initiating the L3 call, that means it is sending the NAS attach request. So that will be coming to the base station from the UV. So those things I am not capturing here. Okay, and you're able to see here initial UV message, which is this is TX, which means from the base station to MME. That's why it is TX. Okay, so for that we are not getting the response here only because there are multiple things to understand from the core network perspective as a part of L3 call. For example, attach request UV has sent. So in that MZ will be there and MME is trying to get the authentication information from the HSS, and as a part of that some multiple messages will be sending. Downlink NAS transport, this carries authentication request, this is authentication response, this is security mode command, security mode complete. So like that multiple messages will be sent, and the preparations from the MME, S gateway, P gateway, all these preparations related to GTP. So those things we will try to have a look at in a GTP protocol. But here once the security procedure is actually completed with the help of these things, okay, then then the establishment related to default bearer is coming into the picture. That's why you can see this is the one where the activate EPS default bearer context request. So that message is actually going here, which is a ESN message that will be piggybacked in this particular message. Okay, but in between if there is any need of getting the UV capability information, okay, then E node B is trying to get with the help of RRC message exchange. Now context request, right? So here context request, context response, which means attach completed already and some data is actually ongoing. Okay, now what has happened? It is gone into the idle mode because of inactivity for this particular RNTA. So which will be mentioned in release request, S1 release request, release command, because UV is not doing any activity, just doing the L3 call, and finally it is moving into the idle mode, correct? So that's why this release command got it. right? And then once the release is actually happened, now the paging is actually initiated. So until here 46 is released, which is RNTI. Now core network specific paging is triggered, right? So for that, it is at the S1AP level it is happening, which means RRC level, MAC layer, physical layer, all these communications are actually happening related to initiation of the attached service request, because this is a paging, it is not attached request now. Now the RS connection request, RS connection setup and setup complete, all the message exchange will happen between these two. That's why you can see the timestamp is very big, correct? Which means RRC, physical layer, MAC, all the communication is actually happening, or RLC as well. And then it initiate the NAS specific messages. That's why you can see initial UV message. By the way, like in this particular entire eNodeB log, you may not be able to see the NAS messages, because this is eNodeB log, and eNodeB is not having any it didn't understand anything related to NAS. So we'll check it up in the UV and MME communication, how the message exchanges are actually happening. Okay, this is only the message exchange between eNodeB and the MME. Right, initial connection, context, setup request, setup response, downlink class, release command. So here actually happened with respect to 47, right? Only these messages. So within these messages, all the RRC in the previous discussions what we made, all those things are currently happening within this highlighted picture, highlighted lines what I have done. And later it is going to be UV release, correct? So UV is released and STP is shut down, which means we are actually shutting down the eNodeB here, right? Shutting down the eNodeB. It is just waiting actually, so that base station can get connected. So now I am exiting the eNodeB, that's why it is failed and socket is closed. That's all. So this is the overall picture how the S1AP messages. Okay, so this one we are not covering to understand more detail about S1AP, because we are from the air interface discussions. Majority of the times we will be covering only in the air interface discussions. Okay, so I think that's all for the S1AP aspects. I think we can discuss the GTP aspects in the next upcoming video. Thank you.